Welcome back to the Power of Youth Plus. I'm your host, Merna. Today we're exploring how language and civilization connects us from ancient wisdom to modern innovation, and how young people of this generation are learning and loving the Chinese language in this digital world. But before we dive into our discussion, please check out this fascinating video. I hope you enjoyed that video, and to all you lovers of the Chinese language, the culture, that video was for sure very exciting. And once again, we are joined here with three lovely guests. I'm going to let them say hello to you right now. Welcome guys, thank you for joining us. The one thing that really connects us all is Chinese language. So as I all know, all of you speak Chinese, all of you have done research in Chinese. I want to know more about what made you want to study Chinese in the first place. Can we start with you?
So I always liked languages. I learned a lot of languages. And one day I started learning Chinese. It was very unique and different from everything else I learned. So it was the uniqueness, the beauty. So I just kept learning. And I think I still learn it because it's really interesting, and also the feedback I get from Chinese people and from China, it's like also encouraging me to go on and learn.
That's cool. At what age did you start learning Chinese?
18.
18. But you're already like so pro at it for an adult. I mean, usually they say when people start very young, they become so pro at it.
Yeah, that's why like my Chinese is not that good.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty. And at what age did you start, and why did you choose to learn Chinese?
Maybe just right after elementary school, because of my father. My father was an engineer in Korea, and that company also have a branch in China. Yeah, that's why I came here, and that's why I start to learn Chinese at the very first time.
What about you?
Yeah, actually it's like pretty similar to her, because my dad also works like at the Chinese company branch in our country, and he did come like to Beijing to study Chinese for like couple times, maybe like around 5 or 7, and he was really inspired by the whole culture and also the growing influence of like China and in the global economy, in international trade, technologies and everything. So he came back and he also inspired us, me and my sister. And after graduating like from high school, first my sister came to study in China. She was studying in Hangzhou. And after her, I also graduated from high school and came to study in Beijing.
That's exciting. It's really cool to know that your family already had an influence on you before you actually started learning the language. All right, now I have one big question for all of you. Do you think Chinese language is hard?
Yes.
Yeah, we could say it is. It is definitely.
What do you think is the hardest part about learning the language?
For me, I would definitely say like probably the most challenging is definitely the tones and the pronunciation, because I've been in China for like 6 years, but I'm still getting it wrong like a lot of times. And I'm really like happy that Chinese are still kind of quite understanding.
What about characters? Do you find that really hard as well to remember?
It's too many.
Too many. Too many. All right.
Hard to memorize.
Hard to memorize. To break the ice, actually, on average, I think they say a young person who is learning Chinese as an international student, to be able to finish the HSK exam, you need a couple thousand words, right? You guys have never seen these words, I assume, or maybe you've seen them but you don't know what they are. In situations like this, when you're reading, what do you usually go to? How do you know, oh, if I don't know this character, how do you go find what it is?
Check the dictionary.
Check the dictionary. What about you, Jen? Dictionary?
Yeah, so for me, probably I would try to guess first from the context of the whole like phrase or the sentence. But if I would think that, okay, I cannot understand, it's probably gonna be the digital dictionary or the AI nowadays.
That's very useful. So based on what I've gathered before when I was learning Chinese, if I don't know a word, I was lucky enough to have the generation where you can use your phone and actually stroke it, and then the dictionary or the file will tell you what it is. But I do know there was a previous generation that learned Chinese. You actually have to go to the book dictionary and actually check the hard words, right? Based on your generations, you used AI to check it.
Yeah.
What about your dictionary? Was it actually like a dictionary, or did you actually use computer?
No, Pleco.
Pleco!
Yeah.
Ah, what about you?
When I was young, there is no AI, something like high technology things. So I just have to book dictionary or something electric dictionaries is only for check the words.
Oh my, that
I
sounds
always
difficult.
have to bring it to school, memorize it.
Speaking of languages, since we're all in China right now, China has many different dialects, right? Do you guys ever encounter that, like you're talking to someone maybe from another province and you're like, wait, that's not what I learned in school? That's not the Chinese that I know? Was there ever a situation like that?
Yeah, I think it was because like I went a few times to like the Dongbei, to the north of China, to like Changchun and also to Harbin, and I think like sometimes like I would hear words like they would say "ga ga leng." It's like very cold, but it's like they wouldn't say it's like "hao leng" or like "fei zhang leng." They would say like "ga ga leng," and then like someone explained like from locals to me that this is actually how they say it in the north. And that is definitely not how I learned it like back like in Beijing in language here.
Yes. There's so many funny videos about it. Like, oh, I learned years of Chinese, and then they go to a specific province and they speak it differently, and he's like, what have I learned for so many years?
I have a fun story.
Tell me.
Because I was in a very small city in China when I was young. It's called Zhizhao. Have you?
In Shandong.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know it?
Yes.
Have you been there?
I have been there.
Well, I was there. There is just few foreigners there. So in my classroom, I am the only foreigners. International school in just one school.
Yeah.
So I learned dialect first from my student.
You learned the dialect of Shandong
Yeah,
first.
from my friend.
Interesting.
She teach me the words called 钥匙, and it means 钥匙 in 普通话.
It's like a different version of how
Yeah,
they say
but
it.
I learned 钥匙 first. And after I entered the university, I said this word to my friend, and she didn't understand. But what is 钥匙? And then I surprised. Oh, she didn't know 钥匙. She is Chinese. Oh my God. And I checked dictionary, and I know, oh, my memory is low. There is something like, it's quite embarrassing for me.
Oh, I'm sure you learned it in a specific, dialect. So like she's not wrong, but you're also not wrong. It's just like how you're used to saying it.
But problem is, foreigner always, international student always learn 普通话 first.
Yes.
And that is standard language in modern Chinese. So if I say direct, it's something weird, maybe.
Not so much right now because the amount of international students in China are so many. Like compared to when you were younger, now I bet in Zhejiang there's like so many international students, and now they are taking territory. So if you go online and you see, you're like, oh, you're a Beijing foreigner, but she's a Fujian foreigner, and she's a Shandong foreigner. Yeah. Everyone takes territory of where they are. They love the food more. They love the dialect more. I assume when you were in the Northeast, there's actually a big population of, I think, Russian students there.
Yeah, they were.
Right, they were. I think the ones I met, they really take territory of where they are. They love it there, they love the culture, they love the food, and I assume it's the same thing for the foreigners in Zhejiang. Do you have a special place for Zhejiang in your heart right now, since you were there when you were younger?
Maybe Shandong.
Shandong in general.
Yeah.
It's a very nice province. It's very nice food as well. And they have seafood, which is awesome. So that's really cool. Okay, so we are at an event which is all gathering us and scholars from all over the world about sinology, about the language, about how we are entering the digital age right now. So now with AI, we had a talk before we started about how much are you using AI in your school right now? And since you're already at school, you're like, sometimes it's really helpful, but maybe not many universities are accepting too much usage of AI. In terms of sinology or understanding language and culture right now, how useful do you think AI is? I'll start with you.
It's a tool, so it depends on how you use it. It is definitely very useful. You can get a lot of information, but you need to double check because it has a lot of mistakes. It has some fake content, so you need to double check. But for a start, it's good. Yeah, it depends on how you use it.
Well, now you're doing postdoc at university, right?
Yeah.
And one of the most prestigious universities in the world, actually. Tell us a bit more about how students are now integrating the balance between AI and their research.
I'm not really sure about what they do now because when I was studying, I was doing my PhD. There was no AI around. So the one thing that AI is really helping foreigners is that it can check our grammatical mistakes. Yeah, so not spelling because like in Chinese you don't need a spelling, but yeah, some expressing mistakes, like that maybe it's not the right way to express it in Chinese. So AI can tell you that. I think that part is kind of very...
That's interesting. What about right? Yeah.
Yeah, I also think like every law student would reply like also it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on how you use it, because we cannot debate about the thing that AI is definitely very like efficient way of learning anything you would like to learn nowadays, and also like the most like quickest way to learn something. But at the same time, we also all should be aware of the fact that AI is also it's possible to generate some information that is not actually like existing at the moment, or is just like making something up. And we should definitely like checking like double time, especially like having the sources, like the links, because sometimes I think like now some AI tools like the Chinese Doubao, they can also provide the source link, and there you could also go to the source link, the original one, and read the information and double check if that's true. Then of course it's like way faster just to go through each like maybe Google link to read it by yourself.
That's true. But I mean, in terms of law as well, there's so much reading involved.
Yeah.
Does it help sometimes like maybe sum up some stuff?
Yeah, it definitely does, because like in law school, as you also know, we have like so many like pages of reading. Maybe like for each class we have like 60 to 100 pages of reading, and like sometimes maybe you're too overwhelmed with like information and everything. And first of all, maybe it would be really helpful to summarize the whole case, the whole information, to help you better understand what the text is about, what like the chapter is about. And after that you could also like go on and read it again to understand it better, but you already have the idea of what this text is about, and it's really helping you.
When you were learning Chinese, what do you think is the easiest method for you to remember the language or understand it?
Maybe trying to find associations. Yeah.
Associations, like groups and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Ah, well, that's an interesting method. I feel like with this generation of how introverted some people are, they would rather probably study it alone at home or with an online friend. But you were really willing to like meet people and have discussions.
I was thinking that there's the correct way and the easiest way. Yeah.
What about you two? What was the thing that really helped you when you were learning?
I think there were like several things like to put on together. So first of all, when I was learning Chinese, I would go back to my dormitory and I would practice like every day writing like the words that we're supposed to learn the next class. I would study them in advance and I would write them down, like maybe each character for like 3-5 like times, to just to memorize what I'm about to study the next class. And also like this would prepare me for the like conversations with like teachers, because I think sometimes it's like really important not just listen in class but also engage in conversations with your classmates and teachers as well. And the third thing is like obviously communicating with others, like especially like Chinese students or other like fellow students who are also like learning Chinese, who are passionate about that. That would definitely help me, because this is also how I learned like English, I think.
Communicating is also a vice versa thing. Like Chinese students are always willing to actually reply you in Chinese rather than like, oh, I don't think you're speaking very fluently, so I choose to like not want to talk to you. But they are usually willing to have a discussion with you when you're trying. That's really cool. When you guys go back to your countries, right now, back and forth with learning Chinese, how do you feel like your friends and your family, what kind of questions do they ask you about the language you're learning or your life in China?
Everything. They are curious about everything that's happening in China. Many people are interested like how and why China became so powerful in such short time. Yeah.
So the curiosity is mostly like from like news reports that they've read and stuff like that, and then they ask you what are your impressions of it and stuff like that. Do you feel like you can give them and not really an analysis but like an explanation from your point of view?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. What about you when you go back to Korea?
In my case, my whole family learned Chinese, so they have understand about China and Chinese language. So not really like there is no weird question about China.
Like curiosity. What about when you go home?
Probably like before, because my dad came like to study some basic Chinese. So at first, actually, when I would study, he would be the one who would be probably more explaining to me what does it mean. But his Chinese is like still at HSK 3 level, but I advanced to like 5. So probably now he would be like asking me like how to say some things in Chinese, and I would try to explain, and he just like, okay, that actually sounds like very like formal, very professional. Like I cannot, at my age, I cannot already remember that.
That's interesting. And because of you and your sister and your dad, you have lots of like Chinese influence in your house? in general?
Yeah, I think we do because like I also have like younger siblings, my younger sister and brother, and we also like preparing them that they are going to be coming to China to study.
Interesting. And then when you're back at your home country, you guys can go out and speaking all of you Chinese while everyone else is looking at you like, what are they talking about?
Yes.
A secret skill.
Yeah, that actually happened with my elder sister because when she went back like home, she met there with some friends who are also studying like in different cities in China, and they were going to the shopping mall and they're just like, okay, we want to like say something that, but we don't want people to understand us, so they would just like start speaking Chinese to each other. That is very useful.
It is quite useful. All right, so after years of learning, after you go back one day to Armenia, for example, even right now, we have said like language can act as a bridge, but you're not only studying the language, you have learned linguistics, you have lived here. What role do you think you can play in the future after you're done studying and you're continuing on from like a working perspective?
I think I'm not done learning. There's so much to learn about China and Chinese language. It's just endless. So maybe I just can share my experience, the ways I used to learn Chinese, try to help others. Yeah.
That's really cool. What role do you think you will be playing?
I'm still learning as well, but in my case, I think sometimes in Korea there are lots of misunderstanding about China. Maybe I can speak something stand for China because I love Chinese people and hear all of cultures or people, languages. So I want to protect them. Maybe just from the small mistake or misunderstanding. Maybe.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you can, because you've been here for so long, you also know the language
try.
and stuff like that.
I can try.
What about you, from your economics to your law to your language to your influence? What kind of bridge do you think you will be acting in the future?
Yeah, I think like same as to our PhD student said, like learning is a lifelong like thing that you're supposed to do, like learn throughout your life. But I hopefully will get some more experience in the field of international economic and trade law. And since my country, Turkmenistan, we only like applied for entering the World Trade Organization. So I really hope to be like bringing some help in that field, and as well as also the gas and oil like sector between like China and Turkmenistan related to exactly to trade and law, both fields at the same time. Really hope to bring some help in that direction.
For sure, for sure. I can already see in the future we will have future not only diplomats in the field of economics, law, language, but also someone who can really act as a bridge to bring more friends between people, not only from your country, but like people who speak your language as well, or people who speak English, since you guys can speak it. Definitely, definitely. All right, so to sum up, if you guys can highlight the beauty of language in one word, what would it be?
I would say connection.
Connection.
Connection, definitely.
Glasses?
Glasses. She used my phrase. Well done. What about you?
Yeah, I was thinking about connecting and connection as well. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and for all you Chinese students who are studying right now, don't worry, you have got a very thorough analysis of how they see the language and how they study it from 3 wonderful students. I hope you enjoyed our episode. This is the Power of Youth Plus, and we'll see you next time.